And both the front end and Android app can access it using Firebase and pull down user data from our database. Yeah, that's basically about as far as we've gotten. Gotta redo a bunch of the endpoints. So yeah, and you're supposed to be able to talk to each other using Twilio voice on mobile phones, like to connect rooms. Anyway, hopefully we'll have more next time to actually give you an idea of what the app is, since we don't have anything to actually show this time around. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
That's awesome. Thanks for volunteering to go first. And that's what'll be cool about this. Each week, the idea is everyone's going to be progressing a bit more. Hopefully you don't lose Jacob to this company he just interviewed for.
Yeah, he better not get a job.
All right. Any questions for voice chat group and Michael Landers?
I do have a comment. I was a member of a group chat from the lab, and I'm an iOS developer. We do have iOS app for voice chat app, and it works pretty good. We implemented login with Auth0, billing with the Stripe, and voice call working with the Twilio. Also, we have user notifications, and app is downloadable. If somebody have an iPhone, they can download it. And also we have information on Lambda Showcase about the app. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, they do have a working iOS app. I have it on my phone, actually.
Cool.
Since, for Lambda X, though, they created a whole new repo. So the iOS app won't work with the Lambda X version because we didn't want to break your portfolio project. So,
yeah, Sergey, did you work with Chelsea Tolnay?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, she was the original TL for this team, and she was hired out, so Thomas is taking over. But that was her thing. She's like, I don't want to break the code and mess up people's, portfolio projects. So, yeah, they're starting from scratch.
Got you. If you need some help with any code, even like the back end, front end, I will have access with the old source code.
Okay, good to know that there's someone still on that team around.
It's a little complicated too. If you need some help, I can help it. No problem.
Okay. Sounds good, thanks.
Cool.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, I will let Christina take it away with Neighborhood Library. I believe. Am I right, Christina?
Yes. Excuse my background. I'm in my kid's room.
No problem. I have a giraffe thing that measures my daughter's height in the background half the time. So.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so our team is working on Neighborhood Library. I do have something to share today. So right now it's just very simple. We're able to sign in. Just sign in here real quick. So I'll just go, okay. So we're able to sign in through your Google account. And, oh wait, so I'm sorry. The app is you're able to, so you can borrow and lend out books to people within your neighborhood. So it helps, if you don't want to purchase a book, or if you don't want to be on a wait list at the public library or drive over to the public library, if it's maybe a drive for you. So that's the whole idea of having this app. And so this is right here. So right here we have, we're able to add a book. So from there we have 2 API choices. So I'm just going to use Google and I'll just use this one that I was just to show you an example, the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. So search. And then it just pops up right here. And then we're able to add the book. Gives you this pop-up right here if you want to add it. Yep, add, and then alert that, success. Then, sorry, just scroll back here, and then we can see it's going to be in my library. So those are just, I've added a couple just to test it out. We're also able to delete the book if you want to delete it from your library. And then we also, we've implemented the map, so that way you can set up your personal library location. And then people can, we're still trying to figure out this part, but this is still a work in progress. Where you'll set up a meetup location, and you can exchange the book that you're gonna lend out to the other user. But this is we're still working on this part and how we're going to just set it all up. But this is so far what we have. And then the loaned and borrow is still work in progress. But yeah, that's what I have to share with everyone today. And then we can just log out.
Thank you. It's looking good. Functionality is there. This, everybody, this is a project that was essentially abandoned the last round. Lambda X was formerly known as Lab CE1. So these guys started from scratch, but they kind of inherited maybe part of a PVD, but that's about it. So awesome job, you guys. Any questions or comments from anyone? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Looking forward to see how that goes. All right. Let's give the floor to Audrey Welch from Miracle Messages, another one of Chelsea's teams that they started off this Monday, and so they're just getting started. But Audrey, I'll let you take it away.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, my name's Audrey, and my other teammate is Jonah Bergevin, and we're both iOS developers and just started it on Monday. So we haven't built anything, but we just wanted to give a brief overview of what the project we will be working on is. So let me share my screen. Okay. So this is, we're working with a nonprofit called Miracle Messages. And can you guys all see my screen right now with the website?
Yeah.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure I'm sharing the correct screen. So this is their website, and their goal is to help people experiencing homelessness reunite with family or friends that they may have become disconnected with over the years. So their mission is everyone is somebody's someone, and no one should be defined by what they lack. So they have a new iOS app, and it enables volunteers to help facilitate making these connections. So the way that it works is that local partners or just regular volunteers can download the app, and it provides very simple step-by-step instructions of how to speak to someone experiencing homelessness, and gives interview questions, and the app records the interaction while you're having a conversation. So there's a lot of permissions and everything that need to happen. So nothing is done without permission, but the recording allows for the volunteer to have an actual conversation that flows comfortably without needing to be taking notes or remembering everything that's happening. So then after the case is submitted, the volunteer, they have other volunteers that they call digital detectives, that attempt to locate the loved one and then deliver a message to them. So our job in Lambda X, here is our design document, but they gave us a long list of features that they'd like to add to it. So we'll be taking the existing app and expanding it. And there's the main functionality that we'll be adding is the ability to record a video. So at the end of the interview, the person being interviewed can choose to record a video message that then will be sent to their loved one that they're looking for once they're found. And then another feature that we'll be adding is a progress bar similar to LinkedIn's that shows like what other pieces of information are needed in order for like the case to be really strong and have a good chance of finding the person they're looking for. And then also a screen that lists all of the open cases, which they don't have right now, so that a volunteer can see the progress of the case and get push notifications of when it looks like it will be completed, or if there's any other information that they need to find from the person. So this week we've just been building out our design document and putting together like our feature canvas. But our biggest task has just been trying to get to know the code base. So it's a pretty big app. So we're just like trying to read everything and make sure we understand it and research the stuff we don't understand so that we can start adding to it next week. So that is where we are with Miracle Messages.
This is such an awesome project idea. I love it. And kudos to you for taking on the task of digging through like an existing code base. That's definitely going to be like a real world experience. I'm going to build it from scratch. Love it. Many questions or comments in Slack, or if somebody wants to unmute themselves, we'll get the next person on deck. All right. Thank you so much, Audrey. Excited to see what you guys come up with in the weeks to come. Next up is Carlos Lantigua with Social App. It looks like you've got the support of your former TL as well as your current. They got Will Schultz up in here and Tristan as well. So I'll let you take it away, Carlos.
I lucked out. I got some pretty good TL so far. So with our social app, we started off with Lambda Social. That was the name and brand that we were going with it. However, we felt that it was extremely limiting as to who we wanted to invite into our application. And so we wanted to open it up to a lot more people. So we kind of changed the name and the brand to it. So now it is known as Nero. And still trying to figure out whether or not I'm even saying that name right. Me and my teammate kind of came together and put it down. But essentially what it is a social application very similar to Reddit, where users find a what we call a subtopic, and that can be a very general idea of something you want to talk about, such as if you want to talk about React as a whole, then you would go inside of that topic and then open up a discussion talking about something more specific about React. So we wanted to gear this application more towards developers, designers, iOS, Android developers, basically people in tech field, give them a place where they can come in and communicate their ideas, get to know each other, and just overall share the things they like to talk about. So in the landing page, the first thing you'll notice just a little welcome thing up here with a few little stats about the application so far. Down here, we just have a collection of the top 10 discussions, and they are ordered either by votes, or if you want to, you can also order them by comments or by the date that they were posted. And then if I'm currently logged in using Auth0, and as you can see, my name is Dragon Lord over here. I recently changed it just because I was bored earlier, so I can go back over here and just edit myself and just change it to Ninja Master. and I no longer break code. I'm now a Ninja Turtle. So change that. I can also change my image if I want, but I'm pretty handsome, so I'm gonna leave it like that. And then let's say that I want to look around for a few discussions or subtopics. Let's see, as of right now, I don't think they have one I want to talk about, so I'm just going to create one. So I want to talk about React Native. So I'm going to create one over here, and then let's say I want to talk about how much I hate navigation in React Native. So let's say I hate navigation. It messes up all of my errors. Okay, so let's say that I'm creating this, and then I decide that I don't just want to create a discussion. I want to be able to index it so that it's easier for other people to find. So in this case, I could add in my own hashtags and put in React Native. Then navigation. I can also add in an image if I want. So, and this is connected to AWS. So, and it takes a little bit, just, I don't know why, I think iOS is a little bit slow to connect with AWS. With Android, it actually goes pretty quickly. But, and there's my image. So then I hit done over here, and then you see my my post over here with half the image is showing kind of like in a preview mode. And then over here, you can see the whole thing. Now, if you're interested to find out where all of the hashtags are going, there is a list over here. So you can see some of the ones that I created. Down over here is navigation. Let's say I want to look at, let's say, CSS. So basically, I'll do a quick lookup by everything that has CSS in it. And currently, this is all seed data, so it's all just pretty randomly generated using Postgres. I can also upvote and downvote a lot of these once I go inside of the subtopics or inside of the discussions. Decided not to do it out here just because from a user experience, I feel like it's a lot better to actually open it up and see what the discussion is about before you can decide whether or not it's good or bad. So going into a discussion such as this one that has quite a few more, has a few more replies. This one in general doesn't. Give me 1 second. All right, so going into a discussion, there's still a few things about these that I just need to fix up, but currently, if you want to reply to somebody, basically you would click on that. Normally the keyboard would come up, but I have it turned off on this just because it's super slow to type on it. So I would just come in here and just say hello. And then pretty much Ninja Master just posted it a few seconds. If I change my name again, it'll change again. And then basically if I were to, we also have a recent post and stuff, which will get me the list of all of the things I've commented on. If I find a subtopic that I really like I really like this React Native one that I created, so I might want to join it. So now I can join it over here and then check in my favorites area over here and find it again. And I think that is pretty much it for the features, other than an about section that I added in here a little bit ago. That's pretty much it for now. And this is the team. We started off with Will Scholes as our first TL. He was very helpful in getting us off the ground and keeping us motivated. We have Tristan. Currently, he's definitely helped me debug a lot of stuff, because if anybody knows me, I break a lot of code. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes not on purpose. So he's been very helpful. Luis Diaz, he's very active with me, keeping this project alive and going. We've had contributions from Michelle Paredes and Connor Hosley. And that is our project currently.
Looking good. Yeah, absolutely. Any questions or comments for Carlos and team? So you got Eric asked a question in Slack. What's the icon mini menu you use to create a discussion? Did you touch on that yet?
Oh, that is called a floating action button. I guess it's more so of a concept for mobile design than it is for web. We don't usually use something like that in web. There's basically not a lot of things that translate over to mobile design from what I've found that you would use for both, such as you have to account for things like keyboard, like locations, so that it doesn't cover your input and all this other stuff. So a fab or floating action button is very helpful for just being able to give a user a button for a specific location that they might not need somewhere else without taking up too much space, I think.
Yeah, is that an exo icon or?
No, that's actually a separate package. I can get the name for you in a second. We're using native base for styling. So originally we were using the fab that came with native base, but because it had a lot of limitations, such as once you click the button, the fab would not close, it would just stay open. So if you're typing on the keyboard, you would still see it on the right side. But we're using a package that's specifically for the fab called, let's see, I think I'm in the wrong package.json. 1 second, please. React Native Action Button.
What's it called?
React Native Action Button.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, and it's pretty easy to set up.
Nice. Thanks, Carlos. Anybody else have a question or? I don't even know if that's the right Luis. I just was like searching. Luis Diaz. There it goes. Luis, is that your photo? Is
Yeah,
Luis here? Okay, so now welcome fire. Carlos. It's not. Well, it can be a stand-in. It's all good.
I'm so sorry. That was my fault. Sorry, Luis.
Forgot about it.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, very awesome, you guys. You basically been a two-man team plus, your team lead Tristan helping you out, but you lost a couple of members in the last few weeks due to various reasons. So, looks so good. I see why Ryan wants to, tote you guys around all over the place, get you presenting. So hopefully we can get you in the showcase if that's not already confirmed. All right, I'm gonna let Steve and Austin from Curriculum Bot take it away since they are the ones that signed up. This is a rollover from last round when it was Lab CE1 as well. They had a little bit of back-end data science code, just kind of like a mashup written by Daniel Laura. I don't think he's here tonight. So these guys have inherited that and have been working with him as well. Oh wait, hold on. I'm sorry, not Curriculum Bot. No, my bad. Where is Curriculum Bot? Why aren't they signed up? Smody and Austin, you guys are now on two different ones. Okay, Steve, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Okay. Yeah, we're on the training kit bot.
Thank you.
I'm on the training kit bot.
Thank you. I got confused for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, Austin's from Saudi.
Yeah, we're basically making a Slack bot that will return training kit items. I got a quick little demo here. Let me share before I switch screens. So you can ask it questions. I have a couple built in because it's a little. Return things. Right now we're working on kind of streamlining our database returns, and we're working with data science, or hopefully working with data science to get even more relevant returns, and hopefully the bot's going to be set up to help train the back end. And that's where we're at. And eventually we're going to be building a web page to go with all that. That'll let you search through your history of searches.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Let's see, any questions or comments for these guys? They've been waiting, on a DS person who ends up he's going to be unable to contribute, and trying to, integrate busy schedules with a couple other folks to get this rolling. So you guys are doing a really good job with planning, and are always active, and I'm excited to see what you come up with. All right, we'll give another minute if anyone has any questions about this project or comments. To move out of the sun, my computer is not loving the hot sun. Okay, next we are going to have Austin House from Saudi Design present what they've got going on.
Hey guys, let me kill Slack notifications. So I'm going to swap my screen share for my face. This will be better for everybody, especially my Wi-Fi. All right, so we inherited a project from Labs 13, I want to say. So the front end was essentially a total rewrite requirement according to the stakeholder, but the back end is still intact, and we think we'll utilize all of, or very nearly all of it. So I'm just going to walk down the road and we'll just point out some of the major landmarks along the way. So our goal was to create a text-based app designer so that people with no programming skills or background or Google ability, can build apps from scratch using a visual diagramming tool. So they just make a node that represents a screen, and then they link those up together to create a final product that they can ship out as an app that they can interact with via something called USSD. It's the technology below SMS texting. So this is a South Africa goal, or a South African project. So about 80% of their users still only use USSD for texting. So we had to create a really low-tech solution to answer the call here. So here's kind of where we started off. We looked at the South African region's basic the most commonly used operating systems and most common desktop resolutions to kind of find out what parameters we'd have to fit inside of. Since our entire thing is very much just this one screen with a diagramming tool, it really mattered how much resolution we had to dedicate to each node in this graph. And moving forward from there, we started to do a little bit of research into what have the competitors kind of put together. So this is the previous Labs version. These were very fixed in a rigid system. There was no ability to kind of lay them out as you pleased. This is what the stakeholder produced in a month, and so this is sort of the target that he wanted us to meet and then start iterating on because he wasn't happy with the look, but at least it did more of what he asked. And then we started looking at people that have built similar projects like this in the past and current. So we really started we liked what Lucidchart and Twilio were doing, so we really started following their look development. That shouldn't be talked about, it was a nightmare. And then we looked at things like the Unreal Engine and Substance Designer that use node-based diagramming for artists to be able to do coding as well, to kind of find out how are people grouping this and how are they visualizing it and what really works for people and what are the key gripes. We did the same thing, of course, with just the canvas itself. How do people tend to build their their toolbars and their file systems and all the general UI UX things? So anyway, moving on from looking up what people did, we kind of turned that into a basic profile page. I'll just give you folders to organize your apps, and then this will be all of your apps. You can just drag those in and drop them in, and that'll be that. And then we kind of decided to give a dedicated look to this, and then you've always got a sidebar for help that you can reach out to. Here we started to kind of visualize what would it look like with the test data set inside of our design page. So sort of getting a feel for what the node should look like once it's been filled in, and kind of getting an idea for how it's going to feel flowing through this thing, dealing with should we have everything flow out to the right or flow downward, and there are really good arguments to be made for both. And working with Lambda's UX lead, which is really fun. And so we sort of started finessing that into, here's what we think the default node should sort of pop out like. You've got these placeholder texts that kind of let you design, and sorry, it's the wrong example, but it doesn't really matter. Then we started componentizing it. When we built this thing in React, what is each component that we import going to have to solve? And to do that, we kind of figured out that these are our main sticking points. We need something that the wires can connect to, you'll see there. And we need the title, we need the screen for the menu, and then we need sub-menus if that's an option, and we need a way to add the sub-menus. So that's kind of what we turned that into. This is the one. So profile is still very much under development. It was just placeholder. Same with contact form, but we started fleshing out what our app builder, the Slack thing or the Zoom thing is in my way. So we started fleshing out kind of what major things do we want in our toolbar? What do we really want the look of this thing to be like? And how do we get users to be able to test this? So ideally we'll click test and it'll pop up a little visualization of an old school phone, and you can actually run the demo live straight from what you're building here. And then of course save it and ship it is basically what export will mean. So we looked around for libraries that we can use that have done most of the heavy lifting, because know it or not, this is an absolutely massive, not doable in 8 weeks accomplishment. So we found libraries that had kind of gotten along the way, gotten far enough along the way that we could build off of what they'd done. Only one person that we could find on this planet has done this idea in React. And the reason that was important was because if we directly edit the DOM, we can't actually keep this componentized structure that we needed to build these multiple components that we broke out in the last page. And so we either hard edit the DOM, and this is a very clunky, extremely painfully heavy on the CPU to run all this in browser, or we use a virtual DOM, and only one guy was doing that. So he is very nice. We reached out directly to him, and he's been helping us kind of build off of his code where we get stuck, and he's been actually reverse inspired by what we've been doing, and he started an entire other branch of it. It's been very exciting. So people are cool. Reach out to a community is all I've learned from that. So basically this is his structure. He had the general setup going, but as you can see, the default node that was built in just absolutely did not work. So we had to create our own version of that canvas after kind of laying out what it was going to be like. So our default node comes in. You'll have an ability to wire that up eventually if you ever need to, but no need in this case. So to follow our other example that I guess I didn't really go over, it doesn't matter. You have your solar system, and you can edit the main menu text of this is the solar system. And then if you want to have them, and in this case we do because this is our root node, if this is the main menu that the app takes you to, then you're going to want to add at least one submenu. Let's add 2. So if you dial 1 and send the text, I want to go to the inner planets. If you dial 1, it'll take you to the inner planets. If you dial 2, or text the number 2, it'll take you to the outer planets. From here, create a new node for each one and link them up just like that. I'm sure you've all seen diagramming software before. And then now you're in the inner planets, and oh right, I can't. Sorry, I just showed you a bug we've got. Can't use the delete button just yet. It doesn't delete the text; it deletes everything. So then you'd have your description for the inner planets. You'd have that, and then you can always build more, and then we keep going out further. And currently, we've got it so that we can delete these guys. There's a little button that I'm going to hide from you, but Yeah, we kind of got the bones of our functionality down here. And so we can do this infinitely. And then when we hit serialize the graph, it spits out a JSON object that files all of our data in a nice nested object that we can spit to the API to talk to the USSD, stuff, API. So that's kind of where we're at now. The next steps are to get this isolated repo that you're looking at here embedded into our current repo with this app builder so that this space will be taken up, get rid of the footer here, and just make this a nice full screen builder and test it on a 1333 resolution instead of my 4K resolution and make sure that the nodes don't take up too much real estate and aren't going to be burdensome. So that's the next step on the roadmap. After that, we'll do a lot of front-end tweaking because as you can see, a lot of our website is very placeholder and, not ugly, but not pretty. So that's kind of where we're stuck right now. Or not stuck, that's just our next steps for Monday. So team, if you're listening, if there's anything I forgot to mention, please jump out. But otherwise, I think that's the bones of our app.
Love it. That's awesome. This is one of the more unique ones I've seen in a while. You guys inherited some code and you decided to scrap certain things. Am I correct?
Scrap the front end. Yeah, scrap the front end completely.
Yeah, so this is going to be cool. I'm excited for you guys. So this is Kevin Tana's team, and do we have any questions or comments for these guys before I pass it on to Tristan and Aquila? I closed my Slack, so somebody, if you see a question come up in Slack, I closed it so I could let my computer cool down. If anyone sees one, please bring it up. Other than that, let's see. Did we lose Aquila? Tristan, are you here? You're here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my internet connection, but it seems kind of laggy on my end.
It could be me. It's usually always me. I can hear everyone. Austin, you're a little bit bumpy, but I could hear everything you were saying. So I saw Aquila in here for a minute, and now she's gone. So
I think she was working herself back from the airport. So
oh shoot! Okay.
Yeah, I really wanted to show off her work. We're still just getting off the ground. We haven't started shipping code yet. Some background on our project: it was a pre-existing project, and they built a mobile app for a nonprofit company, and this company helps foster kids find homes by creating a tool for social workers to find potential family members, which is pretty cool, pretty exciting. So I'll kind of just show off. Like I said, we haven't got off the ground yet, so I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what we're building, and then we're hoping on Monday to start shipping some code. But I think it's a pretty cool concept, and it's nice that it's for a real world company that's helping kids out there. To me, that makes me happy to invest my time in a version 2 for them. So I'll share with you guys what we got. The main thing I want to show off is Aquila, one of my teammates, built a mock-up of the whole mobile app using Sketch, which was pretty freaking cool. So that's the main thing I want to show you guys. So this app is pre-existing on a web as a web app. The stakeholder, the nonprofit, has this is a live website that they're using, and we in version 1 of this, we built this functionality into a mobile app, which is pretty cool. So it just scours the internet. You put in a foster kid's name, and it scours the internet, and it comes back with potential people that are related to that person, like a long lost cousin or something. So that was the main gist of the version 1 of the app. And then version 2 would be a different feature So this would be family connections feature. So this list that we're looking at right now would be all of a social worker's caseload, like all of their foster kids that they're trying to find homes for, including that tool that I just showed you. But this will be like more of an organization for all of their cases. And then as they click on a foster kid, you can work on the case. And then this pulls up like a family tree that is actively being built out through technology, through searching the web, through work in the field of trying to find family members. So these would all be potential family members of a foster kid. And then, so this would be a family connection. And then the idea is this web app is already built. So the idea is social worker would use this existing web app on their desktop in their office, and then we're going to build them a mobile app that will be an extension of this. For example, while they're out in the field, they could log a phone call that they made. They have some templates. You know, you could add a document. You could maybe, let's say you're out interviewing neighbors, you could take a picture of a business card, for example, and then or log an email that you sent from your mobile, and then that would take this information, save it to this caseload that we're looking at, and when they get back to the office, then they can work on it further. So kind of, and the general idea of this feature was social workers want to be out in the field helping people. They don't want to be like stuck in the office doing a bunch of clerical stuff. And so this tool, through the search functionality, is minimizing the time it takes to find family members by leveraging technology and the freedom of information these days, and then also organizing it in a way that they can keep track of all their cases. So that's kind of a high level of what we're building. And then some of our dev work or planning work, we've been building the Trello out together. So we can all kind of get an understanding, because basically we had a kickoff meeting with the client, and then he was like, go build it, and we're like, cool, like what are we building? And so we spent a couple weeks really just planning as a team, ironing out, you know, what this app looks like. And so we've been working on Trello, which is pretty cool, and I put screenshots in here off the web app. And then the team refactored the Trello so they all understood it, and they've all jumped in. Then the main reason I wanted to share with you guys today was this one. So again, because our team was kind of struggling to translate what the stakeholder was conveying versus what that translates to us in like code that we need to build. My teammate Aquila, I don't know if she's in here right now, but she built this mock-up in Sketch, and then so she went through and she built out as a result of the Trello and the Notion docs and everything, she built out I lost 2 tabs. Sorry. This one. Oh no, it's not it. She built out all these screens, so this would be like a landing page, like all the cases that I showed you, and then we'll just kind of go through these. And this is really going to help us, we could make this in code, you know, thanks to her like doing mock-up of the whole app, which is pretty cool. It's like it's like a wireframe on steroids. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just kind of sharing with you guys our planning process, kind of an overview of the cool product that we're building. And yeah, I'm looking forward to start shipping code, and I think through all that stuff that I showed you, the Trello and the mock-up, like it's really helped the team like really develop in a product development environment, as opposed to the way Lambda, when I went through Lambda, it was like step 1, step 2, you know, do this to get to MVP, instead encouraging more like team collaboration and creativity. So it's been awesome, and looking forward to starting shipping code.
Amazing. Thank you so much for stepping in. Like, this needed to be shown. This needed to be seen. Like, you won't know what's happening, and all of a sudden Aquila will be like, oh yeah, I have this. She's super modest about it. And it's like bam, 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 bam. So
Yeah, she
yeah.
never ceases to amaze me. I worked with her on Lab CE1, like prior to Lambda X. And she was like, one day with Ryan, she was like, oh, we haven't got that far. It was like a Monday. And she was like, oh, over the weekend I built a little bit of work. And basically built the entire like full-fledged app UI in like one weekend. So she's awesome.
Oh my goodness, yes. And that Trello board is something to set the standard. So y'all, Trello boards are important. So definitely keep up with those. And screenshots are awesome to add to them so people know where you're at. Don't duplicate anything. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, that looks like it's it as far as folks that has signed up. Is there anyone else that wants to step in and talk about anything or show us any work or have any more questions or comments?
You know, Courtney, I'm sorry. Can I show you guys one last thing? Because I know a lot of you guys mentioned like jumping into an existing code base, like out of a labs project. And I
totally.
did cool stuff in Notion. And I gathered all the docs from the version 1 and then the version 2, and then eventually there's going to be a version 3. But like I grabbed all of these docs, so I don't know if I can share this with you guys, like the Notion table or whatever. But this was like really helpful to like to organize everything. I don't know Notion that well, but I thought that this was a pretty cool way of organizing like a previous code base, like all their assets and stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's the way that Lambda is going to try to go and like trickle it down, you know, throughout all the cohorts. And Lambda X, they're doing it for Lambda X and Labs. So instead of having just like a Google Doc for your, they changed the name a few times. It's been like a product canvas, or right now it's called a product vision document. But yeah, I think the idea is to go completely to Notion and have everyone have access to it and see who edited it and being able to share it really easy, and it's like aesthetically pleasing, yada, yada, yada. But holy cow, it's been almost an hour and we had, 6 teams present. I don't know how we would fit all of them in. So you guys did awesome work. Super proud of all of you, inspired from what I could maybe create in the future. And thank you so much for staying late, but yet we get to cut out a little bit early. So happy Friday, happy weekend. Take a load off. That's all I have. Any other questions, comments?
That was great seeing all of your projects. You guys are all killing it. Carlos, Lewis, Will, that was awesome too, man. We gotta bring you guys up.
All right, thanks again. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will drop the recording sometime this weekend, and I'll make sure Ryan and Jessica and all those other folks get to see it. See ya.